Here at Mandate Democracy, we firmly believe that an informed citizenry is the best way to preserve our democracy. However, 1 in 4 Americans can't even name the 3 branches of government.
More than ever, we are seeing the consequences of ineffective and insufficient civic education.
My name is Hildred.
And my name is Ashley. And today we are going to be talking about why civic education is important.
The Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy defines civic education as the process that affects people's beliefs, commitments, capabilities, and actions as members of society. Said another way, civic education empowers students with the knowledge to participate in democracy. This doesn't just include voting in federal elections. It also includes voting in local elections, demonstrating through marches, and even wearing a sticker in support of your favorite candidate. There are virtually no limits on how you can participate in democracy, whether in your own community or up on Capitol Hill.
In America, education is mandatory until the age of 16. This education is meant to prepare students to enter the workforce and contribute to their communities. Math and science are the 2 most emphasized subjects, and most schools rely on test scores to determine funding. Teachers are pressured to focus on these test scores because school funding also impacts their salaries and contracts. So where does civic education fall into this?
Well, the truth is, sometimes civic education isn't a requirement at all. Policy 2020, a nonpartisan information center, found that 60% of rural youth live in a civic desert. A civic desert is an area or community that lacks opportunities for people to meet, discuss, learn, and address issues surrounding governance and their community. That means roughly 9 million students in rural areas aren't learning how to participate in democracy at all.
That number also doesn't include the 30% of urban youth that also live in civic deserts. So the majority of children are alienated from the processes that govern their everyday lives. Most kids get the majority of their knowledge, if any, about politics from social media or their parents. Research shows that this dramatically lowers voter turnout and contributes to the growing polarization that has defined the 2020 election. So we see a need for civic education, but the question becomes, what should civic education in these areas look like?
The future of our communities will be determined by how we educate our students. Research points to 3 different ways of teaching education that have proven to help students grow as active citizens: classroom discussion, engagement in extracurricular activities, and service learning.
Classroom discussion includes observing and talking about government. This includes modeling debate, role-playing, and talking about issues in their community. Most importantly, this allows students to formulate their own opinions and help them learn how to confront their own differences. 2 separate studies in 2001 and 2003 showed that in-class discussion of political issues was a strong predictor of civic knowledge. By engaging in these topics early on, through discussion, political issues become a part of their everyday life going into adulthood.
Involvement in student government and other extracurricular activities has also proven to increase political participation during adulthood, according to a study from 1995. Students who participated in student government or other clubs were 3 to 5 times more likely to vote and work in community-level organizations. Most common in high schools, students have the opportunity to learn how their efforts can contribute to the community.
Service learning combines in-class education with applied learning, typically through community service. Students have a chance to take what they learn and apply it to a wide range of activities such as picking up trash, working in electoral campaigns, or doing charity work in their neighborhoods. A study in 1981 looked at students who were involved in an urban planning project. It showed that these students were more likely to vote than their peers. Another study in 2004 showed that service learning empowered students to do public work as adults. Participating in democracy becomes a habit.
Just like civic deserts, though, we have to consider that schools that serve disenfranchised communities are less likely to have the resources to participate in student government or resource learning. That means that poor and minority students, even if they don't live in a civic desert, are still less likely to participate in politics and government as active citizens.
What is so interesting is all of this research points to a correlation between civic education and participation in democracy. It also shows that civic education isn't something you can test on. It's something you have to do.
The knowledge is literally in our fingertips these days through various forms of technology. You can look up a textbook definition faster than you can teach it. That is the challenge teachers have to resolve. How do you take the textbook out of the classroom and get students actively participating?
Exactly. We know our government works best when citizens actively participate in shaping and responding to policy and government. So civic education has to be more than just learning facts. It should be about learning how to function in a democratic system, no matter what your beliefs are.
And yet, you can't understate the need to know what your elected officials do. In a recent conversation with some friends of mine, we got talking about the Senate. We knew who our senator was, but we could barely tell you what he does. It's incredible that we elect people to office and don't know how they're going to fulfill all the promises we voted for. So you have to teach kids how what they do and what their elected officials do works together to enact policy.
Political scientist William Galston also claims that engaging in political thought and learning about government is directly correlated to intellectual development. Learning political history and dynamics is necessary for human capacities.
That is, those with a comprehensive understanding of civics have intellectual growth. Gaston, along with many other political scientists, believes that these conversations foster empathy, responsibility, and the development of critical thinking skills. It is important that we protect this subject. In order to fully understand and participate in democracy, we must first provide the tools necessary for people to form their own opinions. It really starts with a nonpartisan education to inform ourselves on our own governance system.
The public education system's approach to governance education is decentralized. Curriculum and requirements are widely variable by state and school district. For example, some states require a year of government education, whereas others only require a single semester.
Some people are highly engaged and follow current events, while others occasionally participate and are unsure of where to start with nonpartisan information. This gap is a problem we must address. The decentralization of civic education poses both opportunity and dangers. While schools have the freedom to focus on different social topics, there are differences in information and student requirements.
State public education officials are able to focus on areas that they deem important. They are also able to personalize their graduation requirements and benchmarks. While this approach is beneficial, it is clear that civic education is falling between the cracks.
Galston asserts that the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP, is the only thing that mimics a comprehensive assessment. The NAEP measures the proficiency and success of both public and private education. Although the NAEP covers all areas, civic education is a complementary subject of sorts. It focuses more on the results of core subject areas like reading, math, and science.
Galston also claims that there has been a generational plateau of information. Today's students, at best, know as much as their parents and grandparents did. Civic literacy is lagging behind the rapid growth of other subjects.
Despite access to technology and a wide array of information, most people still do not know how their government works for them. Through these videos, we hope to help you understand how your actions in the democratic process impact what decisions your representatives make. Their decisions impact your everyday lives, and you deserve to help make these decisions.
We hope to answer questions such as, what does your senator do? How does the Electoral College work? What policy does the federal government control? How does the voting process work? The Education Working Group here at Mandate Democracy is working to provide you with the information to answer these questions and help your politicians better serve you.
Mandate Democracy is a nonpartisan, not-for-profit organization dedicated to restoring our trust in the government and supporting an educated electorate.
If you would like to support Mandate Democracy, we encourage you to think about donating to the Democracy Scholar page. It directly funds the work of district representatives here at Mandate and enables the foundation to continue to grow.
The Democracy Scholars page can be reached through the Mandate Democracy website or through our representative social media accounts.
Join us for our future segments as we dive into core governance topics and discuss the importance of democracy, the Constitution, the three branches of government, and much more.
Join us, Mandate Democracy, votes that matter, no matter who's elected.